Today we are discussing about transport system in India. It is a very important chapter for WBPSC, also SSC and UPSC exam. So let's start in the transport system in India includes rail transport, road transport, air transport, water transport and portal connectivity. It is very indispensable for us as as we are going let's assume we are going from Calcutta to Bombay through railway or through air, and air is very much costly, but it's take less time than rail. So we also prefer air rather than rail transport, as our basic needs wants this. Transport and communication system includes railway transport, air transport, water transport, portal connectivity, road transport. We also remember this point that India has one of the largest road networks in the world, largest railway system and Asia, and second largest in the world water transport in India, and is the oldest means of transport, is still very poor. Now now we are discussing about rail transport. Okay, Indian Railway is the third largest rail network in the world after US China. Okay, it is a multi-gauge, multi-traction system covering broad gauge, meter gauge, narrow gauge. Okay, where we found narrow gauge line in Darjeeling Railway, toy train. Okay, Indian Railway has 17 zones. Okay, we now let's see the picture. Indian Railway zonal headquarters. Okay, now Northern Railway headquarter is the Delhi, Western Mumbai Churchgate, Southern Chennai, Eastern Calcutta. Okay, now northeastern, that is Gorakhpur. Okay, and northeastern frontier হচ্ছে Malegaon, Guwahati. Okay, and northwestern railway headquarter Jaipur, and southwest Hubli, Dharwad, Karnataka Dharwad district. Okay, southeastern railway, we all know that Calcutta is the headquarter, and Eastern Railway also Calcutta, and Metro Railway Zone is additional headquarter, zonal headquarter of Metro Rail, and Secunderabad is the headquarter of South Central Railway. Okay, Jabalpur is the headquarter of West Central Railway, and Mumbai VT, this central, okay, that is Central Railway. Mumbai VT is the headquarter of Central Railway, that is Chhatrapati Shivaji Terminus. Okay, Allahabad is the headquarter of North Central Railway, and South East Central Railway, that is Bilaspur, and Eastern Central Railway, that is Hajipur. Hajipur is situated in Bihar, and Hubli is situated in Karnataka, Jabalpur situated in Madhya Pradesh, Bilaspur situated in Chhattisgarh. Okay, Gorakhpur situated in Uttar Pradesh. Longest railway station. Okay. Now this is the most important point in this para. Now let's start. Chittoranjan locomotive works at Chittoranjan. Diesel locomotive works at Varanasi. Diesel loco modernization works at Patiala. Okay. Integral coach factory Chennai and railway coach factory at Kapurthala. A railway wheel factory at Bangalore. We should remember this point. These questions are very much important for our forthcoming exam. Now let's take a look from the point that is we are discussing about the rail transport. Now please look at the number 2 points. First railway line in India was operated for public traffic in 1853. Bombay VT to Thane. Okay, Bombay VT to Thane, 34 kilometer. And what is the date in 1853? That is 16th April. That is yesterday. Okay, and it was nationalized in 1950. You also should remember this point. The railways recognized by UNESCO are Darjeeling in 1999, Himalayan Railways, Nilgiri Mountain Railways, Chhatrapati Shivaji Terminus and Kalka Shimla Railways. Next, the Vivek Express, the longest, okay, from Dibrugarh to Kanyakumari travels 4,273 kilometer. Longest run terms in the total time and distance. Okay. Next, Konkan Railway passes through 3 states. That is the most important point. That is Goa, Maharashtra and Karnataka. It runs along the Indian west coast parallel to Arabian Sea and Western Ghat. Which is implies from this point that these railways lies between Western Ghat and Arabian Sea. It is an extremely beautiful scenic route running from Maharashtra till Karnataka. Dedicated Freight Corridor Corporation of India Limited is a corporation run by the Ministry of Railways to undertake planning and development, mobilization of financial resources and construction, maintenance and operation of the dedicated freight corridor. It is both enable and beneficiary of other key government of India. Okay. Next, about which scheme is included in these dedicated freight corridor? Industrial corridor, Make in India, Startup India, Stand Up India, Sagarmala, Bharatmala, Udhan RCS, Digital India, Bharatnet and Umang. The maximum length of rail routes in the country is under Northern Railway. This is the most important point, that Punjab has the maximum rail density followed by West Bengal. And the last point, 28% of the total rail routes of India have been electrified. Okay. Now let's look next point, road transport. Roads help in connecting far-fetched villages, interior countryside and hill areas which are not connected with main railways. It is complementary to railways. It acts as arteries for goods and passengers arriving at the railway station. India's road network is the third largest in the world. Now, Nagpur Plan 1943 classified the roads into 4 categories: national highway, highway, state highway, district roads and villages. National highways comes under jurisdiction of National Highway Authority of India. The length of the national highways is only 1.7% of the total length of the roads in the country, but they share the burden of 40% traffic. Next point, longest national highway. It is the most important point. NH44, previously NH7. NH44 covers the north-south corridor of NHDP and it is officially listed as running over 3,745 km from Srinagar to Kanyakumari. Shortest national highway, National Highway 47A, has length of 6 km that links the junction with NH47 at Kundnur to the town of Wellington Island in Kochi. Best expressway in India, Ahmedabad Bhadodara Expressway. Okay, longest elevated freeway, Chennai Port Madhuravel Elevated Expressway will be the longest elevated expressway. Golden Quadrilateral, it is the most important point. Golden Quadrilateral, it is a dream project of Atal Bihari Vajpayee and it was inaugurated in 2000. Year 2000. Please remember the kilometer and 4 metro cities named Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata, Chennai. Okay. National highways are specifying by yellow and white color milestone. We all know that. State highways are specifying by green and white color milestone, and city roads are specified by black and white color milestone. Next, NH2. It connects Delhi to Kolkata via Mathura, Agra, Kanpur, Allahabad, Varanasi, Mohania, Barhi, Palsit, Bidwavati. Okay. The famous GT road. Who constructed this? Shesh Shah. Peshawar to Kolkata. Route is the important issue. Next, NH6 connects Hazira to Kolkata. Where is Hazira situated? Hazira situated in Gujarat to Kolkata. Next, NH10. What is the significance of NH10? That is, it lies on the border of Pakistan, connects Delhi to Fazilka. NH31, it is the only one national highway that connects 7 sisters. 7 sisters means northeastern states of India to the rest of India. Next, 13, north-south, east-west corridor, Srinagar to Kanyakumari under the north-south corridor, and Silchar. What is this? Srinagar to Kanyakumari and Silchar to Porbandar. That is the north-south and east-west corridor, and they meet at Jhansi. Okay. Next, Sagarmala project. Let's look at the picture. Sagarmala project. Coastal area. Sagarmala project is linked with coastal area of India. What is the significance? It was inaugurated in 31st July 2015. It also a dream project of Atal Bihari Vajpayee. The key objective of this project, develop port infrastructure in India that results in quick, efficient and cost-effective to and from ports. It also includes establishment of rail and road linkage with the port terminals. Next, the total length of roads per 1000 square kilometer, Kerala. Kerala stands first, followed by Tripura, and it was if we consider the total length of roads per 1,000 people, Arunachal Pradesh stands first, followed by Nagaland. Next, state-wise total length of the national highways in descending order, UP highest. State-wise total national highway, length of national highway, and Goa has the least. Next, among UTs, Andaman and Nicobar Island have the maximum length of national highway, and Lakshadweep have no islands. Okay. State-wise total length of roads, Maharashtra highest in percentage, and least length of roads is in Sikkim. Among UTs, Delhi has the maximum length of roads, Lakshadweep Island have the least. Okay. Air transport. Air is the fastest and costlier mode of transport. That's all. It was started in 1911 in India between Allahabad Noini. 1995 International Airport Authority of India and National Airports Authority were merged to form Airports Authority of India. This is the important point. And the authority manages the Civil Aviation Training College at Calcutta. We should remember this point. Okay. Pawan Hanks Helicopter Limited has providing helicopter support services to the petroleum sector like ONGC, ODL, and also provides services to certain state governments, PSU, and in the northeastern states. An international greenfield airport has been set up in Kochi with the assistance of private sector. The international greenfield airports have been built in Samsabad in Hyderabad and Devanahalli in Bangalore. Now this is the list with its original name of the airport and city state. This question was asked many times in CGL, SSC, WBPSC, so it is very much important topics. Okay, very much important. Now let's look the map. Red color indicates international airport, black color indicates domestic airport, and blue color indicates seaport. Please go through this map. Now next, water transport. Water transport in India is one of the cheapest modes of transport. There are 6 national waterways set up by the Inland Waterways Authority of India in 1986. Which is the headquarter, and where is the headquarter situated? It is situated in Calcutta. Okay. So 6 national waterways. At first, national waterways 1, Allahabad along Ganga river. Now let's look Allahabad Ganga. Okay, the waterways between Allahabad and Haldia is under the Ganga Bhagirathi and the Hooghly river systems. The waterway passes through Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Jharkhand and West Bengal. It is one of the most important waterways which is navigable up to Patna by mechanized ship and up to Allahabad by normal ship. Okay. Next, NH2. Sorry, National Waterways 2. It stretches between Sadia, Assam to Dhubri in Assam in Brahmaputra for a distance of 891 km. The Brahmaputra is navigable from its mouth to Dibrugarh. National Waterway number 3, that is from Kottapuram in Kottapuram in Kerala to Kollam in Kerala. This waterway's significance is that it is the first waterway of India which is 24-hour navigable in its full expanse. Please note down this point. It is the first waterway of India which is 24-hour navigable in its full expanse. Next, National Waterways 4. Okay, this waterway was between Bhadrachalam and Rajamundry. Bhadrachalam to Rajamundry in Godavari river, and Krishna river between Wazirabad to Vijayawada in Krishna river, and canal waterway between Kakinada to Puducherry. Kakinada, Puducherry to Kakinada. This is Kakinada. Okay. Next, National Waterway 5. These waterway of the Brahmani river system between Talcher to Dhamra. Okay, Talcher to Dhamra in Brahmani river system, the East Coast Canal waterway. Okay. And now we are discussing. Now let's learn about the point that under the National Waterways Act 2016, which was passed on 25th March 2016, a total of 111 inland waterways have been declared as national waterways in addition to the above mentioned 5 national waterways. The national waterway number 6 will be developed in the river I, which is a tributary of the Brahmaputra river, whereas the national waterway number 111 will be developed in the Juari river of Goa. Please note down this point. Okay. Next, there are 13 major ports and 187 minor ports in India. Maritime transport comes under the concurrent list of the Constitution. So, Central Shipping Ministry administers major and minor ports are administered by respective coastal states. Okay. Major ports: Kandala, the seaport in the Gulf of Kutch, situated in Gulf of Kutch, and its harbour is natural and protected. Kandala seaport has been made free trade zone. We all know that. That is, import and custom duties are not levied. Okay. Next, Mumbai. It is situated in the serrated area of Salsette Island. Okay. Ships are safe, even cyclone and storm. Now next, Novoseva or Jawaharlal Nehru Seaport. This seaport has been developed near Panvel in Navi Mumbai to ease off pressure of Mumbai seaport. Next, Marmagao. In this picture, Marmagao is not seen. Okay. Now, Marmagao is situated on the left bank of Juari river in Goa. It is natural seaport. Okay. Now, New Mangalore. This seaport has been developed 9 km north of Mangalore. The significance of this port is it has the facility of export of iron ore obtained from Kudremukh iron ore. Okay. Kochi is a natural seaport situated on Wellington Island. Okay. And it is situated at the mouth of the large lagoon parallel to the sea. Next, New Tuticorin. New Tuticorin, it is located in the Gulf of Mannar by the coast of Tamil Nadu, and it is from here tea, cotton, leather, cotton textile, onion are exported, and mineral oil, coal, salt, fertilizer, edible oils are imported. Next, Chennai. Chennai is major seaport on the eastern coast of India. It is an artificial seaport. Please remember this. It is an artificial seaport and it is the second largest trading seaport after Mumbai. Next, Ennore. Ennore is situated to the north of Chennai on the coast of Tamil Nadu. Okay. This seaport has special significance of coal trading. Next, Vishakhapatnam. It is deep and good natural seaport in Andhra Pradesh. It is self-protected from storms because of a hill called Dolphin Nose. Okay, Dolphin Nose. More export than import is done from this seaport. The iron ore Bailadila area is exported from this seaport. Next, Paradip. It is an artificial seaport on the coast of Odisha. Okay, there is a mechanical facility of loading, unloading of iron ore and coal. Now, then Haldia and Kolkata. Haldia seaport has been developed at the mouth of the Hooghly River. And Kolkata is a riverine port located on the left bank of the Hooghly River in West Bengal. These heavy ships do not go up to Kolkata because of deposition of silt in the Hooghly River. So the Diamond Harbour has been constructed in the open bay away from Kolkata. Now, next, communication system. I think we all are aware about communication system and we should learn these very important points from our upcoming exam, and please note down and take a look about this point. And now our lecture, and I think this is the time to conclude our lecture, and thank you. Okay.